You either step back in fear or you step forward in grateful curiosity and love, welcoming what's coming without knowing what's coming, without the ability to control what's coming, knowing that there are blessings here for you. And every time you step forward, you expand the divine, you expand love.
Elaine Starling, welcome to Passion Harvest. I can't wait to have you on the show today. I'm already smiling and I can feel your bubbling, effervescent energy. So, welcome.
Thanks for having me. This is going to be so much fun.
You are the abundance activator, but first, I would love to start for the audience, which I guess this kind of perpetuated these downloads. You had a stroke when you were in New Zealand.
Yes, I did. It was one of the biggest blessings of my life, probably the biggest blessing of my life. I was actually on vacation, and it was New Year's Day. We'd already had breakfast, and we were wandering around some shops. And all of a sudden, I got tunnel vision with sparkles around the edges. And then my right arm started to go numb, and the right side of my face started to go numb. And those are classic signs of a stroke. So my husband quickly walked me to a little medical center and they gave me an aspirin. They asked me to describe a poster on the wall. I knew what they said, I knew what it was, but the words that came out of my mouth made absolutely no sense. And it was really clear from the tests that they did that I was having a stroke. And really giving me the aspirin was the best that they could do for me at that point. And I felt great. I felt like it was a lazy Saturday morning and I just wanted to roll over and hit the sleep alarm and take a nap. So finally, I asked them, look, could I take a nap? And they said, yes, go ahead. As soon as I relaxed, I was in this massive cloud and it was part of me and I was part of it. And I felt this cloud say, this is perfect. And somehow I knew the cloud was talking about me. And of course, being a good little girl, I immediately replied, are you kidding? I don't speak multiple languages. I haven't solved world hunger. I haven't climbed Mount Everest. I'm definitely not all that. And they said, oh, you don't understand. See, you are designed with your skills, abilities, talents, interests, preferences, and your hot buttons, your issues, your faults, your foibles, your challenges. And we put all of that together to create exactly what is needed right now. You are perfect because of your imperfections. And I just had this sudden moment, whoa, Toto, we are not in Kansas anymore. This was something really different. And every time I would ask a question in my mind, I would get the answer back in my body, 360 degrees, past, present, future, everything you can imagine. I mean, colors we can't see, sounds we can't hear. I describe it as kind of like swallowing Google whole. All the likes, all the shares, all the video, all the keywords, all the everything, and it was just amazing, and it kept going on. I got message after message after message, and it was interesting because I kind of felt like I was in this big mixer inside this cloud, and other entities were walking by, hey Jesus, hi Buddha, but I was so focused on, I really wanted to get all the information out of this conversation. I didn't want to be distracted by any of these other amazing entities that were hanging out at the same mixer, right? And eventually I heard this question, are you sure you're done? I was like, well, no, we're halfway through our vacation. We're having a great time. New Zealand's amazing. They're like, no, no, no. You said that you were really frustrated with your business and you were done thrashing. Now, if you're sure you're done, we can use that ectoplasm for something else. Are you sure you're done? And it was interesting because I knew that I was really close to something important. And if I chose to stop at that point, I would have to start all over again to get back to where I was now. So I said, no, I'm not done. And I heard, great, get back and get busy. And I came out of the stroke with absolutely no damage.
I mean, Elaine, thank you for sharing that story. Incredible, incredible experience. And all these downloads of why we're alive. And you also receive downloads of how we can live our best life.
Yes.
How
Yeah, it
can,
was pretty amazing. I get them all the time, and some of them are much more vigorous. Some of them are just kind of, I'm journaling and the messages come through. And other times I get a really strong experience. And just a few months ago, I was in my kitchen doing dishes. And I was just kind of musing over, sometimes you're working on a project and it just comes together perfectly. It's a snap, it's a breeze. And then there's other times when you're working on a project and it is a slog. It doesn't matter what you do, you hit roadblock after roadblock and challenges and issues and problems and I was just wondering, why does that happen? And all of a sudden I felt and heard a really loud, forceful voice in my body that said, when you deny your power is denied to you. When you acknowledge your power is shown to you. You are more powerful than you can imagine. I was like, okay, I'm writing that down. This is a writer downer. I got to remember this. And how am I giving away my power? How am I denying my power? And I realized that often we accidentally use words that are not powerful. We deny who we truly are. We deny that we can create whatever we want. We say, oh, that's going to be so hard. Congratulations. You just made it hard, right? So I'm becoming much more aware of how I'm engaging with my world because you truly are a blessing and you are blessed. So, what are you putting into that mirror of the universe that's going to reflect right back to you nanoseconds later? Are you putting love and delight and excitement and curiosity? The most powerful human state of being is grateful curiosity. When you can show up in grateful curiosity, you don't know what's going to come. It's not like you and I have a script. We're just chatting, right? We don't know where it's going to go, but we're interested, we're engaged, we're curious, we're leaning in. We want to know more. And the more we can stay in that grateful curiosity, the more present we are to the many blessings that are there. And the idea is not that you're never out of alignment. The idea is that you rapidly realize when you're out of alignment and you pop back in. So it was funny. I was driving my husband's truck running some errands last year, and it's kind of a large vehicle. And spatial awareness and I have a distant friendship. So I'm very cautious driving this truck and I'm backing out of a parking space very slowly, very carefully. And out of the corner of my eye, I see somebody just flying through this parking lot. And I thought, man, that is not safe. They're going way too fast. So I'm slowly backing out, slowly backing out. And all of a sudden, I heard somebody honk. And it sounded like they were right behind me. I didn't look, but it sounded like somebody was talking to me. And I went from happy, happy, joy, joy to pissed off in a nanosecond, just like bam, I was knocked off my game. And I started raging in my mind. What a jerk. That person wasn't just dropped on their head as an infant, they were dribbled repeatedly. And I was going off, and all of a sudden the divine's like, no, wait a second, hold up here. We keep telling you that every single moment is a blessing for you. You're making up a story that makes it sound like that's not a blessing. What would be a story where the moral of the story is that honk really was a blessing for you? And I had to think about it because it was not top of mind. But I finally thought, well, maybe I was about to hit something. And the only way they could get my attention was to honk. They didn't have time to put their car in park, jump out, run around, knock on my window. Hey, lady, you're about to hit something. All they could do to help me was to honk. And you know what? Not having an accident, not having the extra expense, the increase in my insurance, the time wasted, all that stuff. Yeah, not having an accident, that's definitely a blessing. And then I thought, well, maybe it was more like a thumbs up, you've got this kind of a message because they had a different vantage point on my parking space and where I was. And I immediately stopped and I turned that wheel really hard and I squeaked out of that parking space. So maybe they were just giving me reassurance. It's okay. You've got this. And again, they didn't have time to put their car in park, jump out, run around, knock on my window. You're good. You can get out. So maybe that really was a blessing. And then the real message hit me. I'm the bad guy. I'm the one who has been blocking myself from receiving the blessings. Every time I make up a story that something is not a blessing for me, I'm denying myself from experiencing the blessing. So when you're not in a great space, it really helps to remember the divine is eager to help you grow spiritually. That's really what you're here to do. And they're not as concerned about whether you like the experience or not. They want you to expand spiritually. So when you can get into that space of grateful curiosity. Obviously, divine, you have a much bigger picture. You know something I don't know. What is it you truly want me to understand about this? What skills am I practicing? How am I showing up? Am I truly making this about how I can contribute and make the world better? Or is this all about me and my limitations? Am I building myself up or tearing myself down? Am I owning my power or am I denying and giving my power away and then being grumpy about it?
Oh my gosh, that's such a wonderful message because could get so caught up in the story of our life. Whatever the circumstances, people, places, events hurt us, cause us trauma, and it's like a never-ending cycle of they did this or this happened. But to look for the blessing and what can I learn from it in that situation, it's a wonderful opportunity for growth. And it's just remembering it.
Yes, that's the hardest part is remembering. Because when you feel out of alignment, you feel out of sorts. So if you're feeling out of sorts or grumpy or unhappy or discontent, that's a sign that you're not in alignment and it's time to move back into that space. And what I
Mm.
love to do is to meditate and journal. And I ask the divine questions. It was really interesting during my stroke. I mean, I've been blessed with some amazing relationships, a lot of love in my life, but I have never experienced such all encompassing, unconditional love as what I experienced during my stroke and that conversation with our higher power. It was just unprecedented. I mean, it was like a Niagara Falls of love, just so intense. And so I came out of a stroke with no damage, and I'm like, wow, that unconditional love, sign me up. I'll take that all the time. Hold the stroke. That was amazing. How do I get more of that? And so I started doing all this research, and everything I read said you just have to allow. You have to open yourself up and allow yourself to receive the messages and receive what's there for you. So I was doing that. I was allowing my little heart out. And every once in a while, I get one of these downloads, and they all felt great, but it was a lot more like a leaky watering can and not Niagara Falls. And that's really
Mm.
what I wanted. So finally, one morning, I'd done my meditation and I'm sitting for guidance, and I was in a bit of a mood. So I said, why isn't this allowing thing working for me? I was kind of grumpy at the moment. And I immediately got the message, what is the image that comes to mind when you think of the word allow? Now, I never put anything on anybody else because no two people have the same relationship with words. So this is strictly my story. But I really immediately saw myself behind a door with a chain on the door, and I'm peeking out the door at the divine, and I am freaking terrified because I don't know what's coming. I don't know how to control it. And I suddenly realized, oh, for me, the word allow is a mind based word. And my mind wants logical sequence and orderly events and before and after and something that I can duplicate, and a guarantee would be really nice. My mind really wants to have everything wrapped up with a nice, neat bow. And that's not the kind of relationship I can have with the divine. It's so beyond human understanding. I can't wrap my head around it. So I realized, oh, okay, I need a heart based word that really represents the kind of relationship I want to have with the divine. And it wasn't top of mind. I had to think about it for a bit. But I finally realized that my word is welcome. Now I welcome the divine. I welcome downloads. I welcome experiences, even when I don't know what's coming. because I don't have to be in control. I don't have to be in charge. The divine knows what I need most and how I can enrich my life and the lives of others. I can welcome the divine guidance that is present for me in every moment.
That's wonderful. I love it how you describe that. And, sometimes the situation or the circumstances are not as pleasing as others. And to remain in that positivity is this is what the divine wants for me is um, really the way to move through any situation.
Yes, absolutely. And life is challenging. Life is filled with challenges. It was interesting during my stroke, during this conversation with our higher power, they asked me a rhetorical question. They said, okay, everything is love. The chair you're sitting in is love. The computer you're on is love. The divine is love. Everything is love. So, how do you expand the divine? How do you expand love if everything is already love?
Mm.
I was stumped. They said, well, we decided to create human beings who don't think that everything is love, who enjoy the difference between if of contrast between what is wanted and what is not wanted. And that friction gives you the superpower of choice. You either step back in fear or you step forward in grateful curiosity and love, welcoming what's coming without knowing what's coming, without the ability to control what's coming, knowing that there are blessings here for you. And every time you step forward, you expand the divine, you expand love. Being physical is the expansion joint of the divine. This is how the divine grows. And so you have been physical many times in the past. You will be physical many times in the future because it's just like being a surfer who loves catching a wave. Sometimes the waves are huge and gnarly with an incredible curl, and you get the ride of your life. And other times they're kind of short and they piffle out, but it doesn't matter. What matters is you're on the board, you're out in the water, and you're having a ball.
I'm still smiling. You're so inspiring. Okay. And so, well, you're kind of like an abundance expert, and a big congratulations on your book, 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance, which includes tools and tips to work on this. Do you mind sharing a little bit about your book with the audience?
Absolutely. I would love to because I want everyone to activate abundance. It's actually easier than you realize. There are 5 steps, and I'm going to tell you all 5 of them right now so you can start immediately. Step 1 is gratitude. Gratitude is the ignition switch to higher consciousness, and gratitude happens before you get anything else that you really want. You want to feel loved, you have to feel grateful for the connection. You want to feel prosperous, you have to feel grateful for your own skills and abilities and how you make a difference for others. Everything that you truly want to experience starts with gratitude. So that's always step 1. And I'm very grateful for the conversation that we're having. Step 2 is to acknowledge something you heard that was a little bit of an aha for you. So we've been sharing for a little bit. Is there something that I said that was kind of I hadn't thought about it that way before that you would like to focus on?
For me, no. I mean, it's just the reiteration, like the reinforcement that everything is a blessing, and what can we learn from this experience despite the conflict or the
Excellent.
contrast. It's just a wonderful, beautiful reminder.
Okay, so we're going to say everything is a blessing. That's the aha. That's the reminder because we often forget. We get busy in our daily lives and we lose track of that little detail. So step 2 is to acknowledge something you heard that was an aha for you, that everything is a blessing. Step 3 is to appreciate the difference it can make in your life. Well, we do get thrown off track, and that's deliberate because every time we get thrown off track and we reorient back to the divine, we expand the divine. So of course they want us to go out of whack for a while so we can reorient. That's the growth process. It's continually in and out, in and out, in and out. And eventually you get so adept at this that you go out for nanoseconds and pop right back in. So most of your life feels like you're in complete alignment. So the difference it makes in your life is it shortens the amount of time that you're out of alignment with the divine. You become so proficient at recognizing the blessings that are there, at receiving and implementing and sharing the blessings that you receive, that you not only enrich your life, you enrich the life of every other person you encounter. Step 4 is to activate abundance. This is where we take a concept and we turn it into a physical, practical reality that you own. I've discovered 3 different ways that you can activate your abundance. The first way is schedule time to get it done. And I include spiritual practices and journaling here. I think journaling is really, really important because so often we've got a lot of things going on in our minds circling around, and we can't get an objective perspective until we write it down. And then we can really look at it and understand what's going on for us and what the blessings might be. So schedule time to get it done with journaling, really powerful. The second technique is to create a physical trigger, like crossing your fingers or tugging on your earlobe. So especially if you're going into a meeting or you're going to have a conversation that you anticipate could be a little bit challenging for you, if you do that and go, okay, wait a minute, there are blessings that will come through here when I stay in grateful curiosity and I just welcome whatever's showing up. And I choose to respond with supportive love and grateful curiosity. When I do that, all the blessings come through. So all I have to do is remember, and that little physical trigger reminds me who I want to be, who I choose to be in the moment. Okay, the third way to activate abundance is to work with a buddy. I call them abundance buddies because this is somebody who really knows you. They get you. And you're saying, look, I want to view everything as a blessing. And I know that there are times when I pop out of alignment. So I would really appreciate it if you would call me on it. Anytime you see me kind of not viewing things as a blessing, remind me so that I can go deeper and really discover what that blessing is. So those are the 3 different ways that we can activate abundance. Step 5 is celebrate your progress. This is a beautiful unfolding. Your life is this wonderful journey of abundance, and it never ends. You are an eternal being. You are magic. You are such a blessing. So savor it and enjoy it and love the ride.
Oh, thank you for sharing a sneak peek of your new book. You also talk about what we should never do to block the flow of abundance.
Well, the thing that's so interesting is abundance is constantly trying to reach us all the time. Divine guidance is really there for us. And we get trapped in that human space. Human, our human abilities are really important. That's all about taking action. But sometimes we get so fixated on taking action or what should I do? How do I do that? We get trapped in the cursed hows. And we get so wrapped around the axle about, but that's not working, but this isn't working, but how come that's not working? Every time we experience resistance, instead of doubling down and working harder, which is what we're naturally inclined to do, anytime you experience resistance of any kind, that's just the divine tapping you on the shoulder saying, sweetheart, we want to play. We can help. How about you give us a little room and let us participate? We'd love to help you out with this. Of course, you don't have all the answers. We can direct you exactly where you need to be. So, the biggest mistake we make is forgetting to make room for divine guidance, forgetting to align with that higher power, with the God of your understanding. I like to use the word the divine because I don't know if you're familiar with the plural of y'all. The plural of
Yes.
y'all is all y'all.
Oh,
To
oh
me, the
no, I didn't know
divine,
that.
yeah, all y'all. So to me, the divine is the plural of it's everybody. It's God, it's Buddha, it's Jesus, it's Muhammad, it's angels, it's ancestors, it's all y'all. So that's why I say the divine. I don't want to leave anybody out. All the entities that are there to serve and help us.
What's your advice for people who want to connect to the divine, to their guides, and having trouble? Are there some tips or tools you can offer the audience that might be of assistance them to really tap into that alignment?
Absolutely. So I'd like to do an exercise with you right now
Oh, yes.
where, yeah, so we're going to take three slow, deep breaths together. And as we breathe in through the nose, think the words, I am. And as we breathe out through the mouth, think the word consciousness. I'll remind you as we do this together. Let's breathe in through the nose. I am. Breathe out consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out consciousness. Breathe in, I am. Breathe out consciousness. And as you rest here in this beautiful space of infinite divine grace, you feel how very deeply loved and cherished you are. This is the truth of who you are. Our energy is permanently connected. We are united. We are one. And anytime you want to come back to this beautiful, nourishing, supportive, empowering space, you can take 3 deep, slow breaths and remember, I am consciousness. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back into the room.
That was beautiful, Elaine. Gosh, everything just kind of went silent. I calmed down. That was not that I'm stressed, but I've had a busy day. But that was just, I mean, we overcomplicated it. It was so simple.
It is. It's super
I've
simple.
got
And
goosebumps now.
it's the truth of who you are. And there's one other thing that I want to share with you because I think it's
Please.
super important that people understand this. So often we mistakenly believe that we don't matter, that we're just this tiny little ant down here
Yeah.
and God is up there somewhere and maybe they'll listen to us and maybe we'll get some guidance. That's not true. We are actually in full partnership with the divine. The divine views us as an equal and extremely important partner to help make everything happen. They're frequently telling me, we are guiding you and you are guiding us. And I asked them about that, and they said, well, anytime you see something that seems really big and bigger than you could ever solve on your own, like you see homelessness, or you see people who had their house wiped out from a storm, or you see conflicts, and you personally don't know how to fix that, then all you need to do is envision those people as healed and whole and happy and thriving in their lives and direct love and blessings to support them. We will follow that guidance and we will send them your love and blessings, and they will be on that path to feeling healed and whole. Now, I came across a really amazing book many years ago now. It's called Connected. Really long tagline: The Surprising Power of Our Social Networks and How They Shape Our Lives. Just remember Connected. Brilliant book. It's written by two social scientists, and they were really curious about the 6 degrees of separation thing and how much influence do we really have over each other. Well, through all the research that they did, they discovered something called the 3 degrees of influence rule. It turns out that you have influence over your friends, 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 3 levels away from you. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. I wonder how many people that actually is. So I asked Dr. Google, And she came back with a recently published article in the New York Times citing some research done in the United States that says the average American knows about 600 people. And I thought, what? There's no way in the world I know 600 people. So I asked two friends of mine who were very knowledgeable. They said, oh, that's really low. You know, closer to 1,000. I was like, okay, time out. I don't know about that. I didn't do the math. I'm just going to pretend that 600 is the right number because obviously these scientists did the math. So what does that look like? So if you imagine a bullseye where you're at the center of the bullseye and there are three rings around you, the friends, 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 that first ring is the 600 people that you know. Well, every single one of those 600 people knows 600 people. That's 360,000 people in your second ring. And every single one of those 360,000 people knows 600 people. That's 216 million people in your third ring. So, according to the social scientists who wrote the book Connected, every single thing that you think, feel, say, and do ripples out to 216,360,600 people. You being you, taking care of your energy and raising your vibration is the most powerful thing you can do for the planet. Now, that's not the freaky part. Here's where it gets freaky. They measured how much impact you actually have. It turns out that when you're having a great day, those 600 people in your first ring are 15% more likely to have a great day just because you're having a great
Isn't
day.
that amazing? Even if we're not interacting or speaking
No,
to, that's incredible.
no, it's just the vibration, it's the energy, it's how you're showing up that ripples out. And the 360,000 people are 10% more likely to have a great day just because you're having a great day. And the 216 million people are 6% more likely to have a great day just because you're having a great day. And there are times when you're not. There are times when you're out of alignment. Don't worry about it. It's a lot like dodgeball. Nobody wants it, right? They're kind of ducking and weaving. The important thing to remember is you are connected to 216,360,600 people, and somebody in there is having a great day. And our energy is now connected. We breathe together 3 times. That unites our energy permanently. If you never hear my voice again, if you never see my image again, it doesn't matter. I am with you, and you can tap in to that high vibration anytime you want.
Thank you. That's definitely some food for thought. It could also mean if one of those, even the smaller circle of the 600, if they're not having a great day, it could potentially influence our energy as well.
You have a choice. You have a choice. You can step back in fear or you can step forward
Mm.
with grateful curiosity. And it's your choice. That's why I call it the superpower of choice. We have a choice over the stories that we tell ourselves. Is this me owning my power or am I giving my power away? Am I pretending that this is a problem instead of deciding that it's a blessing and looking for the blessing? Now, often blessings come kind of like a scavenger hunt. You know, it's not really obvious. They expect us to dig under the bushes and really think about how in the world is this a blessing for me? And often I will have to ask and journal about what might be going on here. How is this helping me grow? How is this helping me expand and own my power?
So I've got two more questions. Thank you.
Anything you want, anything you want.
You know, we talk about abundance as if or manifesting, creating the life of a preferred reality that we would choose. Your 5 steps, just for example, if someone wanted a desired reality, is this also the ways to activate that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because life is lifing and it's your choice what you experience. And the more you're aware of all the blessings and all the opportunities that are there for you, the more progress and prosperity you get to experience. I like to describe it as kind of like when you're looking for shooting stars. You know, when you want to watch for shooting stars, you do have to look at one part of the star field, obviously. But then you open up your peripheral vision so any little stray bit of light grabs your attention and you actually see the shooting star.
Mhm.
So often we get tunnel vision and we're fixated on, but this has to be the answer. And it's only a blessing if it shows up just like this. Well, then we're cutting ourselves off from how it really could show up for us, often bigger and better than anything we could imagine. So being willing to be open to receive is really the key. If you're insisting that things show up a certain way, then you're cutting yourself off from as much abundance as is possible. It's kind of like you are a straw that the divine flows through. The divine uses us not only to expand the divine, but also to experience what we are experiencing. Imagine that it's kind of like when you go to a movie and you get really into the plot and the story and the characters and you're living the movie. Well, the divine is living us. They're really experiencing what we are experiencing, and it's very enriching for them to be along on the ride with us. Now, what they want is for us to continually expand how much we are able to receive. And we can either be this little swizzle stick that's welded together in the middle and, hardly anything can drip through there, or we could be a massive tunnel and let infinite amounts of divine energy flow through us as us. Being willing to be yourself and recognize that what you're putting out there gets reflected back to you. I've started a practice that I usually do in private until I tell people what I'm up to so they don't think I'm completely nuts. Mostly nuts, not completely. So one of the things that I'll do is I'll say, I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. I'm so blessed. Because when I do, and I use that kind of energy around it, you can feel it, right? You feel it in your
Yes, I'm
body.
feeling it, that's for sure.
It just ripples out. And
Mm.
that's what I'm putting out into the universe. And it's going to mirror more things for me to be happy about, more things for me to be grateful for, more blessings that I could ever imagine because I'm putting that energy out there. Do I know exactly how it's going to show up? No, that's part of the fun. If you knew the ending of the movie, I mean, maybe it's your favorite, so you watch it over and over again, but come on, you want the surprises.
It's so true. I mean, in the past I always wanted like an Excel spreadsheet of my life and to know. No, I did. But I realized it's never going to happen. But I think a lot of our suffering can be caused by the fact that things have to be in a certain way. And when that doesn't eventuate, we can block ourselves off from the incredible abundance
Yeah,
and
I
cause
invite you.
incredible suffering.
Absolutely. And in every place in your life where you notice you're saying, I have to, I want you to switch that to I get to
Mhm.
and start looking at what shows up if I get to have this relationship. How is that actually helping me? How is that expanding me? It's like I decided a couple of years ago, I'm not going to work anymore. I don't choose to work because every time I think about the word work, it feels heavy. It's something I
Yes.
have to do. It's all on me. I've got to figure everything out. I'm on my own. Good luck. So instead, I choose to play. When I play, I open myself up. It's fun, it's easy, it's wonderful, it's engaging. I invite other people to play with me, and we all have a good time. It's really interesting. I am a high energy person, obviously, and I love using silly voices in my stories. And for years, I've been embarrassed about that. For years, I held myself back from that because I
Oh.
thought, oh man, that's not professional. People aren't going to respect that. You're going to undermine your message if you don't tone it down. But I finally realized that when I show up as my true self with that playful, loving energy shining through, that's when people get the most out of their interactions with me. Those things you're beating yourself up for are some of the biggest blessings you can give us. So please stop hiding. Please.
Oh, I should have got my tissue box. You should have warned me. That was so beautiful. Yes, be you. I always love what Dr. Zeus said. There's no one newer than you.
Very true.
Oh, yes, I mean, it's just about being, singing our full spectrum of colors and just being you. There's only one of us in the world, and we often hide or whatever our issues or unworthiness, and it really does block us from just honoring ourselves.
Absolutely. And, one other thing that I think is important for people to understand is the purpose behind limiting beliefs. We all have a universal limiting belief that I am not enough. And that is one of the gifts that we're given to remind us that we're actually in partnership with the divine. And so often, here we are running a three-legged race. And I don't know if you remember this from when you were a kid, but you're partnered with another kid, and two inside legs are wrapped together. And then you have to try to run this race, and you're different heights and you have different strides, and you kind of jostle each other around, and it's really challenging to do. Well, here you are running a three-legged race with the divine. Okay. They've got a little bit bigger stride than you. And if you think that you're all on your own, you're dragging the divine behind you with every step. And of course, that's really hard. Of course, it's really difficult. Of course, I am not enough. I'm here to partner with the divine. It's a reminder to invite the divine in, to support you, to help you, to guide you, because there are blessings beyond imagining present for you.
Oh, thank you, Elaine. I love your message. Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Please visit my website, theabundancejourney.com, and you'll find out information about my show, which is also called The Abundance Journey. And every week we celebrate all the different ways that abundance can show up for you. And I activate abundance at the end of every episode. So it's a lot of fun.
Good. And anyone that's missed that, I'll leave a link below in the show notes. My final question, when from the beginning of this episode, people have watched all of this, um, when you had your stroke in New Zealand, you saw what happens when we transition from our physical body, in that what happens after we die.
I sure did. And it really got rid of all concerns about transitioning because in reality, it's a graduation, it's not an ending. You are an eternal being and you have different bodies at different times. You have been physical many times in the past. You will be physical again many times in the future because this is a rock star place to be. This is where you get to create and expand the divine. So it's filled with challenges and thrills and chills and adventure, and it's exciting. Of course, you want to be physical. Now, the best analogy I've been able to come up with is kind of like the difference between kindergarten and first grade. When I was in kindergarten, we had nap time. When I went to first grade, no more nap time. When you're physical, you have a body. When you're not physical, you don't have a body. But there's still a whole lot going on, and there's a lot more for you to learn and grow. There's all kinds of things happening, and you can still connect with those who have passed. Or if you have passed, you can connect with your friends who are still in physical form. It's really interesting. After my stroke, I spent the next 10 years supporting my parents and my in-laws with end of life issues. And I was a little worried about my dad because he didn't think there was anything after this life. And so I meditated and I sat for guidance and I asked the divine, should I be concerned about my dad? Because I know there's more, but I'm a little worried that he's not going to have a great experience. And they said, well, how long can you sit without a single thought? And I was like, oh, nanoseconds, if that. I'm constantly having stuff going through. They said, your dad's exactly the same way. As soon as he has a question, it will be answered. It starts the conversation. And then he discovers how much more there is. So no worries. Well, it's really interesting because I did say to him when he was still in physical form, I said, Dad, I know differently. It's going to be a different kind of experience than what you're expecting. And he always was concerned about me merging onto the freeway driving. And I'm a good driver, but he was always worried about that. And so now Dad clears space for me to merge every single time. I always check. I don't just take it for granted, but every time Dad clears the way so I can easily merge onto the freeway. And I always say, thanks, Dad. I love you. I miss you.
Oh,
And my
that's so
in-laws show up that way
beautiful.
too. Yeah. Yeah, they are in touch. We have to be willing to notice the blessing that they're sending us and be willing to receive it.
Elaine Starling, I've loved having you on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the Passion Harvest audience that I haven't asked you today?
I think it's really important that you understand you are a blessing and you are blessed. And because you are a blessing, it's important for you to bless. Bless your food, bless strangers, bless your day, bless experiences. Because the more you do, the more love and blessings reflect back to you.
Beautiful way to end the show. Thank you, Elaine Starling. Thank you for being on Passion Harvest. I'm still smiling at your bubble of light. So thank you so much.
Oh, Luisa, this was so fun. I really enjoyed it. Thanks
Yeah, I
for having
love
me.
your energy. Thank you.